5 and 60 years had 34 fatalities. Age group between 50 and 55, 32. And the age group of 60 to 65 had 31 fatalities. Now, one may say you have most of those fatalities in this age group because you have more workers in those age groups than any other. The truth is we don't know in mining industry what is the age distribution. However, what we can observe, no matter how someone is old, how many years someone has, it happens every age group. It really doesn't matter if you are 18, 56, or 60. We observe those fatalities in every single age group. My experience, someone will say, more years of experience you are safe, don't worry, everything will be fine. If you look at this histogram, it's true that the workers with experience from 0 to 5 years had more fatalities than any other group. And you can see how it drops with the number of the mining experience. However, again, it does not matter how many years someone has in mining industry, you are still vulnerable to serious injuries and God forbid fatalities. They happen and data clearly show it. People with 25, 30, 40 years experience, oh, I have a lot of experience, nothing can happen to me. Yes, it could. And the data clearly shows that. Now, we pulled number of the fatalities for every single sector, carbon, aggregados, non-metals, metals. Number of the fatalities, total number of employees, and ratio. So what you can see that in aggregates industry, we have the highest percentage, highest ratio of all industries, it was all 10%. So you have number of fatalities to number of employees. And you all know that every company, every mining sector has a different culture. Coal mining sector industry is completely different than aggregates. Culture in metal industry is very, very different than in coal industry. Or non-metal industry is very different than coal industry. And even within the industry, every single company has its own culture. So I can have two companies in aggregates with very, very different culture. Safety culture, environmental culture, business culture. And I always say to my students, when they graduate, we have a lot of mining companies coming to university, interviewing students for full-time jobs. And aggregates, metals, carbon, non-metal. And students ask me, which company should I work with? This company will pay me $10,000 more for my starting salary than this company. I always say, don't have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more in salary, move into the industry or the culture of the company that you do not like. Take the company where the safety and environmental issues are the two most important items, particularly if we are talking about sustainable development. Coal industry pays more than anyone else. $90,000 starting salary. Metal mining industry, 85. Aggregate, $75,000 per year starting salary for our students. But again, pick the company where you're going to be happy with their culture and work, go to that job and do it every single day. I refer that particularly to the students. Then we analyzed the root causes of all those fatalities. We found 241 root causes. 523 root causes were read, analyzed, and classified. And we have 33 root cause groups. Now, usually one fatality has a root cause, one or two, but it also could have multiple contributing factors. So to avoid any misunderstanding, we use root causes as they classified by the Mine and Safety Health Administration. So, what we found? We found that failure to follow safe work procedures and conditions while performing the task has 83 fatalities. Failure to use appropriate protective equipment contributed to 57 fatalities. Failure to provide adequate task training or new miner training, 56 fatalities. Failure to identify surroundings of the workplace or the equipment was energized, 46 fatalities. Failure to maintain control of the equipment, 32 fatalities. Failure to provide hazard and safety training, 46 fatalities in total. Failure to prevent, correct, or danger of hazardous ground conditions, 22%. Failure to follow manufacturer's recommendations, 17. Failure to provide and maintain direct and positive communication between the workers or people in the mine, 16 fatalities. Then we had failure to provide adequate signs on the roads or workplaces, 14 fatalities. Failure to provide adequate burn at the dumping site, roads, or facility locations, 13. Failure to provide adequate maintenance of the equipment, 13. Failure to follow the traffic controls and parking procedures, 9. Failure to provide safe foot traffic in the working area, 7. Failure to provide safe workplace before, during, and after the blasting, 7. Failure to follow mine safety handbook and training plan, 6. Failure to provide adequate safe access to the workplace area, 6. Failure to identify that the safe and good operating procedures were done before the task. I do apologize for giving all of them, but I think they are critical and very important because every single of those root causes led to the fatalities. And I hope, that could help, to really bring, bells and know for the miners that they can recall those near misses or the process in their minds, what really can be the root cause of those fatalities. We have failure to provide supervision for new workers or workers without experience during the work assignment, 5. Failure to provide adequate communication, 4. Failure to correct unsafe work practices on equipment or at the workplace, 4. Previous illness, 3. The equipment operators' blood, alcohol, ethanol, and drugs level were found while operating equipment, heavy equipment. So you can't smoke marijuana and drive truck. Failure to provide notification of commencement operations to MSHA. 3. Failure to report unsafe operating conditions of the equipment. 2. Failure to provide secure travel for the passengers riding in the cab of equipment. 1. And we have one fatality each for the failure to identify the functions of the backup alarm, failure to monitor employees on a routine basis, to find if the employees are demonstrating proper work habits, and failure to control access to hazardous chemicals. So, as you can see, we had a total of 528 of those root causes. So most representative of all of them, of those first three: failure to follow safe working procedures, failure to use appropriate operating equipment protection, and failure to provide adequate task training or new knowledge training. Now, the next step will be probably to do a risk assessment or the risk management. We already have a frequency, and would be useful to do the probability and create those risk matrices and try to find, where the majority of those resources should be targeted for the training of the miners. Yeah, just shortly three examples. In surface metal mines. So this is for the power storage. This is 340 truck with a small pickup truck. So what was the root cause? The mine operator didn't ensure that the mobile equipment operators followed existing rules on making positive contact with each other. The one operator did not make radio contact and visual contact with the operator of the mobile equipment. In addition, the one operator parked in the blind spot of the 340-ton haul truck. That's one of them. Another one. The root cause: management had not established traffic control policies and procedures to control the movement of light-duty vehicles in the dump area. Management failed to ensure that the light-duty vehicles were only in the area to conduct work-related activities. And one more, where the root cause was that established traffic control policies and procedures were not being followed by travel in the pit area. Tires added to demarcate parking spaces prevented service and maintenance vehicles from parking next to the driver's side of any haul truck. So in all those cases, operators of those lines were killed. You particularly may have interest in metal mines, and we did separately for every commodity. So what we found for the metal mining industry, that the most representative root causes groups were failure to follow safe work procedures, conditions like promoting the task. We had 7 fatalities. Failure to use appropriate operating equipment protection, 6 fatalities. And failure to provide adequate signs on the road or workplace, we have 5 fatalities. And finally, to summarize one more time, power haulage machinery contributed to the most of the fatalities in the U.S. surface mines. The most frequent age group with fatalities was between 55 and 60, between 50 and 65, having the highest peak in the age group of victims from 55 to 60 years, 24 fatalities. Aggregate sector was with the highest percentage of those fatalities comparing to the number of employees. And 3 most common root causes of those fatalities, as I said previously, was the failure to follow safe working procedures and conditions, failure to follow the task, failure to use appropriate operating equipment protection, and failure to provide adequate task training or new manual training. So, muchas gracias por tu atención.